Happy Saturday, friends. I just wanted to say you all are blowing me away with all of your support, comments, subscribing. I'm just amazed, and you don't realize how much it has given me hope and hope for my future and inspiration to just hear all of your encouragement or read all of your encouragement. Um, so I have really seriously, for the most part, the majority of you are encouraging me to do what my heart tells me to do and quit my job, get out of that corporate world that is just killing my soul. So, and there have been also some really smart financial advice about, somebody said, really examine your finances. And I do that because I'm kind of OCD about it. I have spreadsheets upon spreadsheets, and I keep up with my budget. I watch every penny. So I know exactly where I am, and I know what can go wrong, and I know what can go right. And of course, I'm kind of always been a perpetual pessimist. So I focus, kind of normally focus on what can go wrong, but I'm trying to also think about, like, what if it all goes right? So I have started to make a plan to quit my job, and I wanted to share that with you today. This is a plan, not a plan to retire and not work and not do anything. This is a plan to get out of my soul-sucking job and make the second act of my life all that I've ever wanted. I've got an entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm adventurous, but I'm also deep down, I've got a deep-rooted feeling that if I'm not working and pulling in a full-time income and have security, that I have a deep-rooted sense of, like, unworthiness if I don't have that. So the second half of my life is going to be a little bit more about me and less about being secure for my family, because my children are grown up now, and while they depend on me for help a lot, my focus has still been on them. Like, I just want to mother them, and they're all grown up, so I have to stop doing that and mother myself. So my first step is that to set a date for giving my notice. I've checked my company's policies. I'm actually eligible for their retirement, which doesn't get me much. I don't have retiree health benefits because I haven't been there long, and they quit that like in the early 2000s. I'm expecting a nice commission check from a real estate sale that's going to get me through the rest of the year, and that's going to be in a couple of weeks. And I'm also getting my quarterly bonus from work in about 3 weeks. So it's going to have to be after that, because I want to make sure I've got enough resources to get through the rest of the year. And then as of January, this is what I've kind of found out. There's this thing called the Rule of 55, and not every employer's 401k allows it, but I've looked into mine. My administrator is Fidelity, and my employer's plan does allow the Rule of 55. And what it says is, and I don't have the notes in front of me, so I'm going to try to think about what I read off the top of my head. But if you leave your job in the year you turn 55 or later, and you have money in that employer's 401k, this does not apply to a 401k that you have with a previous employer. And it does not apply if you left your job before you turned 55 and then later. But so if you leave your job when you're 55, you can start withdrawing from your 401k without the 10% penalty. You do still have to pay taxes, because you remember that was pre-tax money that you put in your 401k. But I have not enough in my 401k to fully retire, but I have enough to live a couple of years on. Not that I would deplete it that way, but it's a good cushion. So that it's a safety net. It gives me the courage to do this, knowing that if I get in a bind, I can pull some money out of my 401k without that 10% penalty. So that's going to be kind of my backup plan. I actually am talking next week with a director of nursing instruction at the local community college about doing some part-time teaching next in the spring semester. So that's another plan for making some income. And I am still doing real estate. I think I can get enough real estate business without killing myself in it just from my circle of influence, friends and family and referrals, to give me a good, at least a transaction a month. I can probably get at least 10 to 12 transactions a year, and that's going to be a nice little, another little chunk of money that I can live on with my part-time teaching and my 401k cushion. You know, of course, I've also told you I've got some rental income. I've got about $1,500, maybe $1,700 in cash flow from my rental properties. And I still do a little eBay flipping. That is not really that lucrative. It's just kind of fun. If I have time, I can do that. Also, the Spark driving, the Walmart Spark, I made a video on that. Also, it's funny that a couple of people have mentioned in my comments about van life, and this minivan that I'm sitting in, I actually bought it right before COVID because I wanted to convert it to a camper and do kind of a part-time van life in it. And I actually did a little bit. I converted it. I made a video. It was in the end, late 2019. I think you can see it on my channel, giving a tour of my van. I converted it to a little camper, kind of no build thing. I went to Florida for almost a month, and then COVID was it was in January. No, it was in February of 2020. I went to Florida, and I spent almost a month down there. And then when I came home the next weekend, COVID shut everything down. So I have really watched more van life videos than I want to admit. I have a lot of belongings, and I would also start to slowly sell off all those belongings so that I can have the freedom to kind of minimize. I don't really want to go full-time living in a van or an RV, but it's definitely something that I've always thought about. I might start really just kind of getting rid of things that I don't need and saving that money for some sort of a rig, a bigger van or a small RV. So I might make more videos about that, and maybe I'll even take a trip after I quit my job and take you with me. The other thing that I want to do is, while I have this time after I leave my job, is tell my story. I have quite a story, and I've been saying for years and years that I wanted to write a book. And a lot of people say that, a memoir, and I still do. And I don't even care if people read it. I just kind of want to write it all down. I don't really feel like I can release any of that until my mother has passed on, because a lot of it is dealing with my childhood and trauma and getting all of that out. So, but anyway, I would like to tell my story, and YouTube has started to make me realize that I can do it, and I can do it in an easier, kind of more natural flowing way by just making videos and talking than writing. Although I still like to write, it's therapeutic. But I'd like to take the next 6 months to write and make videos and see where that takes me, because I feel that I think I have a story that could really help some people, especially younger women who are struggling with maybe they've made some bad life choices, and I think I've got some wisdom to share. So at 6 months, if I need to go back to work, I'm a nurse. I'm never going to have another corporate job. Mark my words, never ever. If it's 6 months, if I need to go back to work full time, I'll find something. You know, I've got a master's in nursing, so, but I don't necessarily want to ever manage people anymore, because there's just too much politics in healthcare now. I wanted to share a couple of things that I saw last night when I was kind of browsing YouTube. There's a channel that I watch. I'm going to tag him in my comments or in my description and see if he responds to this. But Timothy Ward, you made a video recently where you said you don't have to feel guilty for not working. And that really hit home for me, because that is exactly how I feel when I think about leaving the full-time workforce. Is that because I'm young and I'm healthy and I have a good 15 years left of productive energy and productive time, I think. And at least, and the guilt that's already kind of, you know, my family, my kids need a legacy. I need to leave them a legacy. I need to leave them, you know, I need to have something to leave for them, and I need to be a productive member of society, blah, 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 blah. So I appreciate you saying that, because it made me think a lot about tendency to feel guilty about things. And you also said, I think it was you in another video, and it might have been somebody else who said, it's not that you have, if you leave your job and you're feeling guilty, think it's not that you're not working and you're lazy. It's all the work you've already done that has given you this opportunity. You have earned a break. And those things really sunk into me last night when I was watching those videos. So I appreciate those comments. I think that's all I've got to tell you today. I just wanted to tell you my plan. I'm planning to be out of my job by Christmas, and maybe by Thanksgiving. It depends on what happens at work next week, really, that's going to dictate when I'm going to give my notice. And I've got a plan, and I'm excited and nervous. It's very scary, but it's so exciting, and I almost feel like I'm seeing a future for myself now that I haven't been able to see before. Thank you again for all of your support. Please leave me a comment and let me know what do you think of my plan. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks.